Bear Down Bears fans, thank you so much for checking it out. We're going to go over the post game. Chicago Bears win their home opener 24-17. I gave you a call of 31-13. Plenty of different takeaways that we can make from that. The offense did not perform to the level that we were really looking for. And a lot of that had to do with look, this is a team game. I'm going to tell you that. This is a team game no matter what. But Coleman Shelton made an almost catastrophic number of mistakes in a very short time in this football game. I do think that once getting started, and by the way, I do want to point out the starting lineup here was Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins, Coleman Shelton, Nate Davis, and Darnell Wright, and it was not looking great. This team was not doing a very good job. Now, the one change that did get made was that Ryan Bates was moved into the guard position. I don't know the status of Nate Davis. I don't know what's going on with Nate Davis. Perhaps it was just a side effect of a lack of performance, but the Bears started to look a little bit better as the game wore on. Now, at one point, DeAndre Swift not having a very good game, but look, we saw quite a few strong runs, and for some reason, there was this almost incessant need for Shane Waldron to continue to call these stretched out sort of plays instead of hitting the holes and really making an impact straight up into look. I'm not telling you should run right into Jeffrey Simmons, but run close to him and double team him along the way. That's going to be a whole lot better than a team who was sniffing out these stretched out sort of sweep plays that continued and continued and continued. This is a very good, very versed team, and the Bears were able to come through. Now let's talk about what we saw here. So Will Levis, 19 of 32, 127 yards. Caleb Williams, a not great 14 of 29 for 92 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. And I told you guys I thought he would have 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. So I wasn't close with Caleb Williams. I think I said 225, 230 yards. As far as the defense goes, now you do have to look at uh, maybe your MVP of the game is going to be let's call it Tyreek Stevenson coming back but Tyreek Stevenson also gave up a few big plays to Calvin Ridley. I think Calvin Ridley ended up going 3 for 50. I want to say, but TJ Edwards, I told you guys that was going to be the linchpin for this defense, and boom, he comes in with 15 total tackles and 2 tackles for loss. Also, should be noted, our newest addition here, Daryl Taylor came in for 2 sacks. Javon Dexter came in for a sack. So the Bears start off the season with 3 sacks overall. We saw a touchdown from Jonathan Owens. We saw a touchdown from Tyreek Stevens. Overall, this is a very good. We saw a 2-point conversion for DeAndre Swift. We do at some point, we'll probably have to consider that Velus Jones is no longer going to be a kick returner because we saw yet another fumble. We also saw, and what would amount to one of the more incredible sort of plays that you've ever seen in the Bears, where Rome Odunze ends up fumbling the ball in one of his first catches, and the catch was a carom off of somebody else. Ball goes way up in the air. Rome catches it, brings it down for the reception, and then fumbles the ball away. Now, luckily, we recovered it, but just a really interesting sort of play. But what ends up happening here is DJ Moore, 5 receptions for 35 yards. Keenan Allen, 4 for 29. And Keenan Allen, can we talk about Keenan Allen for just a second? Dropping a football in the end zone, something that you just don't see from Keenan Allen. Also, you had Velus Jones for 1 reception. You had Rome for one reception. DeAndre Carter, 1 reception. Cole Kmet. And look, I'm going to tell you guys this. The team is going to turn this around, and it will turn around very quickly. And by that, I mean the offensive team, not the entire Chicago Bears team. We're going to take a win. We're going to take a scary sort of win, but a win no matter what into next week. Now, the Bears had 84 yards rushing, 63 yards passing. This is going to go down as exactly what would be expected of a rookie quarterback. And look, I want to say this: as the game started to move on, Caleb Williams got a little bit more comfortable, but I do think that he was a bit out of sorts. I do think that Caleb Williams was probably he was not feeling it. But guess what? When it came down to it, claws up because the Chicago Bears were able to come through with the big time win. Now, another thing that we're going to go back to right now is Coleman Shelton. Look, I don't know what to say about Coleman Shelton, but we had penalties, we had absolutely easy missed blocks, we had he was just allowing Jeffrey Simmons to. There was a highlight, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but 8 minutes left in the game, there was a highlight reel. And it just happened to focus on Coleman Shelton. He got knocked on his ass at one point. He missed an obvious stunt that was coming in, which is his job to protect. There were so many different little plays that Coleman Shelton was just not getting it done on, that you really start to get nervous about this offensive line. And look, to be fair here, maybe we can chalk this up to Tavondre, was it named Tavondre Sweat? Tavondre Sweat was an absolute monster on that defensive line. Jeffrey Simmons also just absolutely in the game. Roger McCreary, this team, look, take nothing away from Tennessee. Their defense is going to be something really, really good as this season progresses. I am absolutely ecstatic that we came through. By the way, I told you guys we were going to do it. I told you guys we were going to get the win. So let's just say one down, 16 to go. What do you take away from this? And here's the thing. I think what we take away from this is there's obviously a problem running on the edges for the Chicago Bears at this point. One of the important parts, and I think if you guys just kind of imagine what was going on with the Chicago Bears last year, um, the Bears ran up the middle. They ran an in-your-face sort of offense. Shane Waldron, for some reason, started to really attack the edges. The only place that the Bears were really having any kind of level of success was running it up the middle, and they did that not very much. Khalil Herbert, I want to say Khalil had what, two rushes for 4 yards, but I think one of those rushes was -1, and the other one was for about 6 yards, and that was right up the middle. I don't think that the Bears ran the ball up the middle. I would be looking for Shane Waldron to make some adjustments going into next week that we'll start to see the ball going up the middle as opposed to around the edges. Clearly not the forte, or perhaps, again, just a bad matchup with the Tennessee defense. But overall, Bears come through 24-17 in Caleb Williams' first start. So Caleb Williams is now undefeated in the NFL through, let's call it 5 games. I'm kidding. It's not real. While we do that, let's go back over here. Pittsburgh, by the way, and I do want to point this out. Justin Fields ended up having a pretty good game. So if you're a Justin Fields fan, then shout out. Justin Fields had, what is it, 200 and 200 yards passing, something like that. 133 yards passing, 17 of 23 for 133 yards. So shout out to Justin Fields for having a good game going out there. We still love Justin Fields, and but listen, we saw Caleb Williams make a few really good plays. We saw Caleb Williams make a few very nervous sort of plays. And look, one of the things that we did learn is that Caleb Williams dance to stay alive in the back when there's waves of defenders coming at you. That's not going to last very long in the NFL. I think he realized that. He knows that. He didn't make any turnovers. That's the important part here. No turnovers from Caleb Williams. So with that, I think that the Chicago Bears 1-0 beat, by the way, Green Bay lost. Chicago won. So all is right with the world through this weekend. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. We're going to keep this very quick. It's time for me to go get that swole on. We're gonna take this to the gym. We're gonna make fun of everybody who was a Green Bay fan. And that's it, guys. You have a good day, and we will see you again on the live stream. If this is your first time tuning in, make sure you hit that like button on the way out. But we will see you Monday at 10:30 a.m. where we go live, and we're going to wrap this game up. Bear down and F you, Green Bay. We'll talk to you again very, very soon.